What's up, guys? I'm Josh Pate. That's Steve Wiltfong. It is the weekly Wiltfong recruiting Whiparound. Wiltfong, we're going all over the place today. We're talking about uncommitted players. I'm looking at a list. I got like a million of them here. But let me just start throwing them at you, and you tell me what the very latest on these guys are. Devin Campbell, big-time offensive lineman out of Texas, I believe the Arlington area. Very latest on his recruitment.
Yeah, Bowie High, five-star player, number one offensive guard per the 24/7 Sports composite and the top 247 player rankings. He has two official visits scheduled at this point. He's going to go to USC on June 4th, and then he's going to Oklahoma on June 25th. Those are two programs for different reasons that are in very good shape to land Devin Campbell. Brian Carrington at USC, a former Texas off-field guy now in an on-field role at USC, really has the Trojans in a good spot for several guys from the Lone Star State. They're going to take their swing at Devin Campbell. And then Oklahoma, one of the top targets for Bill Bedenbaugh and Lincoln Riley and that staff. I think Oklahoma's in the thick of that one for Devin Campbell, but he's trying to get an official visit locked in for LSU the weekend of June 11th. I think that they're just trying to get some logistics lined up with the family to get that on the schedule. And then he's going to take his other two official visits during the fall. Texas is going to get one of those trips. The Longhorns are the 24/7 Sports crystal ball favorite right now, and that he would be a monster. He's maybe the most important recruit on the board for Texas at this point, with just the lack of success that Texas has had in the NFL draft at the point of attack. And I know they just had a high draft pick on the offensive line, but they need more. They need a lot of those. Devin Campbell, I think, is going to be one of them. And he's a pivotal recruit for Coach Sark and company as they try and build up that program in Austin and take it to a level that Coach Herman and the previous regime couldn't do. And hey, as you continue to still try and take your shot at landing a guy like Quinn Ewers, who's committed to Ohio State, landing beef in the trenches on both sides, I think would help that cause as well.
Let's head to the Cypress, Texas area, Steve. Harold Perkins, big-time linebacker prospect, ditto. Very latest in his recruitment.
Well, he's the number one linebacker in the country, and he's maybe the most athletic linebacker to come out since Jalen Smith. And for some of y'all that don't remember how athletic Jalen Smith was, he was a 4.4 guy that I saw cover the slot at the state championship game his junior year, that dominated the opening finals and won the Buckus Award in college. Then tore up his knee and still got two contracts in the NFL on a knee that certainly wasn't as good as it was when he came into college. That's how special he was. Harold Perkins is that special too, with the athleticism he brings to the football field. The way he can play and move in space is freaky good. And the schools in the mix for him are all the powerhouse programs, but the ones coming the hardest for him: Texas A&M, LSU, USC again with Brian Carrington and company. Florida's pushing hard. Oregon, Alabama's really moved up in this one, and of course Texas as well is a major player for Harold, and he's got some official visits lined up. He's going to go to Texas A&M on June 4th. He was recently at their spring game. The Aggies are the 24/7 Sports crystal ball favorite. It's easy for him to get to College Station, so even though he's taking that official there early, it won't be the last time that he visits A&M. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's got USC June 25th. The Trojans are just planting flags all over the country, but again, particularly in Texas. We'll see who they're able to actually bring in when all's said and done. But he's going to go to Florida September 17th, Oregon November 26th. I think Texas is in a good spot to get an official. This recruitment's going to be a marathon there. Those are some of the top contenders. I kind of like where A&M sits right now, but this will be a fun recruitment to follow for a super fun player to watch.
Let's try the Eastern time zone here, Steve. Denai Dennis Sutton. 3 names, really interesting recruitment. What's the latest there?
Well, there's 3 schools that are really in the mix for this top 100 consensus top 100 player in the country. You got Penn State, you got Alabama, you got Georgia. He's going to take officials to all 3 in June. Going into it, I like Penn State. Josh, Penn State's got the number 6 recruiting class in the country. James Franklin's had at least 5 draft picks in the last 4 NFL drafts. That's something that program hasn't done since the mid-90s. He's won 11 games, 3 times, knocked on the door of the college football playoff there at Penn State. So it's a program that's on the cusp of breaking through. Denai Dennis Sutton would be a recruitment that help them knock down the door and bust through. And I think that Penn State's success, particularly in the draft, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, is attractive to him. But the same is true with Georgia and Alabama. Going into the visits, he's more familiar with Penn State and known their coaches, and Franklin and company have been there for a long time. But you and I both know that a trip to Tuscaloosa or a trip to Athens could be a complete game changer in recruitment. So we'll see what happens with him.
Very, very big times in the world of recruiting. Keep it locked on 247sports.com for all the latest. For Steve Wiltfong, I'm Josh Pate. Steven, I will see you the same time next week, my friend.